kind of, I guess, sticking to defense if we want. Andre Jackson Jr. off the national champion UConn Huskies is an interesting kind of option. It's 6'6", just short of 200 pounds, but a 6'10" wingspan, and was one of the greatest defenders in college basketball. Long, athletic, projects to guard the 1 through the 4, probably the 1 through the 3 to start because he's only 200 pounds. But great instincts, excellent reaction time, discipline, doesn't get caught in the air, doesn't foul a ton. He's a junior coming out of UConn, so he's got enough basketball under his belt to feasibly come in and try to make an impact early, but he's only a junior at 21, so he's not super old and whatnot, so he's still going to be he could potentially be a first-round pick. Great leaping ability, runs in transition, would be kind of his main, I guess, offensive output. Also was a 4.7 assists guy per game, so he's got some how many times do we say that about guys? Great defense and some playmaking ability. That seems to be the most common profile, I think, in this draft.
Yeah.
But it's the simple thing about Andre Jackson, he's just not a good shooter. And you'll see guys shoot poor percentages in college, but A, they're either really young, or B, they're really young and they have the upside. Like the mechanics are kind of there. They have some amount of touch that's there. But with Andre Jackson Jr. being a junior at 21, really no baseline of good shooting mechanics. He shot 28% on his threes, and it doesn't look great when he does it. And I think like his shooting forced you. I mean, they won the national championship, so it all worked out. But they had to kind of make some schematic changes to try to keep him on the floor, not have his offensive shortcomings basically be exploited by opposing teams. So, I mean, that says a lot about his shooting, but then that also might say something about maybe an ability for an NBA team to figure out something for him. But, I bring him up because he's a great defender, but then I also, you just kind of think about that shooting situation. You're just like, the second round pick for Andre Jackson Jr. would be good, but I don't see the Kings or really any team wasting I don't want to say waste a first round pick on him, but that just doesn't seem like the type of guy the Kings would want at 24. But I think if you could get Andre Jackson at 38, that could be pretty good because you'd be getting, somebody that could, I don't know, maybe develop into kind of taking on a Kessler Edwards type role. I think the one thing about Kessler Edwards was when he came out of Pepperdine, he had a shooting upside, Like the whole thing was like his shooting base is a little off, but the top half is there. With Andre Jackson, it's really none of that. Like nobody talks about anything good in a shot as far as I'm aware. And so the more and more I keep talking about it, the more and more I'm like, maybe let him go somewhere else. But who knows? Defense is one of the things that the Kings really need to work on. And if he's a high character, high work ethic guy, Monty McNair and company might have a higher evaluation of him. But he's interesting. Coming from a winning team, too, I think you have to throw that out there. He was a big contributor on a team that won. I think that can take you pretty far. So he's an interesting one. He's definitely interesting to talk about, but not super enthralling, I would say.